The principal of a Northland school is concerned families in need of emergency accommodation have been dumped at a remote holiday park with no access to support services. Te Runanga o Whangaroa has purchased the Whangaroa Harbour Holiday Park and has been working with the Ministry of Social Development since last month to provide emergency housing. The campground comprises 14 one-bedroom units with tenants sharing kitchen and bathroom facilities. Now, Kaeo school principal Paul Barker says 5 new children have started at his school without warning in the past week, and he says the local community is poor, it has poverty issues of its own, and it is really ill-equipped to cope with an influx of more poor people.
We didn't actually know, John, what was going on until it had already happened. That's kind of the first point. We certainly don't object to the holiday park being used as emergency housing. Like everywhere in the country at the moment, housing is a scarce resource in Kaeo, and we've got many cases within our school of overcrowding and substandard housing. So for many people, having an option at all is a plus. What I'm growing more concerned by the day over is that the holiday camp is part of our community. We've got a fine community here in Kaeo, but it is racked with poverty in an economic sense. We're some distance away from most main services, and over the last couple of weeks we've had enrolments from lovely kids, but from kids coming from as far as Kaikooi and Kawakawa to the emergency housing in Kaeo. Well, that's not good for the kids, and it's not good for a community that already struggles, in many ways.
So can I just clarify, the Ministry for Social Development started putting people in to the holiday park. The children of these families started coming to your school. Did anyone give you a warning in advance this was going to happen? No,
we didn't know anything at all about it, and it's kind of a typical consultation process at the moment, that there is no consultation or no discussion at all. The kids who have joined us are lovely, and I feel very happy that they've joined us at our school. But the reality is that we've been kind of lucky so far. These kids are coming to us from situations where they've been evicted from their home, moving basically across the island to live in a chalet at the Whangaroa holiday camp miles from anywhere. They're a bit bewildered and lost, as you would expect them to be, away from their whānau, from their support systems, from their school, to temporary housing some distance away. And my guess is that if this continues, then there will be children more sorely affected by this that will create more of a challenge than the ones we've got so far.
So you are getting people from other areas in the far north coming to the holiday park?
Yes, well, we thought that it was a fine idea if we talked about the Kaeo Whangaroa area. There's certainly a need for some emergency housing here, and even if you push those boundaries out, that kind of made some sense. But Kaeo is a place that ranks at the top of all the deprivation indexes. The one that came out last week from Auckland University has Kaeo and Whangaroa top of the deprivation index in New Zealand. The one out of Dunedin University a couple of years ago has us sitting at the top of the deprivation indexes. It seems as though MSD have brought a place without kind of considering the pressures that are already here in Kaeo to meet people's needs, and now are using it to shift people from, as I say, we've received one family from Kaikooi, which is about 50 minutes, an hour away, and Kawakawa, over an hour away to Kawakawa, or maybe not an hour away to Kawakawa, but 45 minutes to Kawakawa. And I'm concerned that from a number of issues, but one of them is that these kids then basically lose their connections with their current schools and their homes, and that they come to Kaeo, which is a fabulous community. I love being part of it, but it's short of resources and support. The nearest work and income office, for example, is at Kirikiri, which is probably about half an hour away from the motor camp. I spoke to a social worker the other day around this issue, and he described to me that a big part of his job is ferrying people from Kaeo to the WINZ office in Kirikiri because there isn't enough money for people to travel there. They don't have petrol or a car to get there. So this is just going to kind of stretch the already stretched resources, in our little town.
Can you describe facilities at what was the Whangaroa Harbour Holiday Park? What's it like there?
Well, it's basically a series of chalets. It was a lovely holiday park. I'm led to believe back in the day there was a little beach across the road. That's kind of been overtaken by mangroves and things now, so there's not really the beach across the road. It's just a series of chalets. It's reasonably well maintained, but it's not somewhere where you would like to set up a permanent home, or it needs to be temporary. And I guess one of the other things is it's quite isolated even from Kaeo. It's quite a drive to get there from our little township, which is kind of a BP and a Foursquare and a few other shops. We do have a health service here, but that's also stretched at times. But other than a basic small town type of community and the Whangaroa Health Centre, there's not much else here, and it's some distance even to get to them from the holiday camp.
So if these people need assistance, services, social services, WINZ, health, all the kind of wraparound stuff that we're seeing, for example, at Tapuia Marae in Auckland, is it available for them at the holiday park?
No. Like I say, WINZ is 40 minutes away. We have a health centre for minor health issues, but most people end up getting shifted, first of all, to Kawakawa if it's slightly serious, and then off to Whangarei from there. Every other service is probably the closest place is Kirikiri, which is, like I say, 40 minutes away from there. Doing the daily shop requires a trip to Kirikiri, apart from kind of a small Foursquare with the prices that are incurred in those small little little dairy type things. So it really doesn't seem to make much sense at all, and in many ways it feels as though MSD have brought a place that they can see people that are kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Is that how it feels?